What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So, as you can see, we are back in Denerim here. We had a couple quests to turn in before we move on along. We mainly got to go see the Antivan Crow guy that hired us to assassinate some people. The quest we picked up from him was Reynold, and he's sitting in the back of the Nord Noble Tavern, so we'll go turn that in real fast. Excuse me, not Reynold. He wanted us to kill Payton, and Payton is the guy that was working for How to kill Wardens. We'll happily turn that in. Reynold was a Mage's Collective quest, which we can also turn in while we're here. Now, in between episodes, I have made a couple changes. I'll go ahead and show you that right now. We found an upgrade to our Grey Warden dagger, so we put in the Fire rune, the Electricity rune, and Chance of Paralysis. Those are the best ones, given that we can do the fastest attack per second. That's going to be great on the Chance of Paralysis. Also, we found a upgrade for Alistair's sword that also had 3 rune slots. So we gave him chance to reduce movement, 10 damage versus Darkspawn, and an electricity rune. We also gave him the Ring of Ages for all those juicy resistances. He is the resident tank. For Morrigan, we gave her Twitch, and we gave her Dalish Battery. That is a combined plus 15% electricity damage. And while we're on that note, we'll go ahead and pull up the tactics for a second. We did go through the squad tactics a little, so for Morrigan, I'm going to give her a chance at using her AI tactics again with Mana Clash. If it doesn't work, I'll replace this with something else, but for now I'm going to try this again. We added in Vulnerability Hex to the hierarchy, so now any rank elite or higher she's going to give Vulnerability to. She still has Drain Life. I reactivated Mind Blast for whenever she is surrounded, and she can now cast Lightning and Winter's Grasp on any normal or higher enemy, so she's just going to be spamming this on everything essentially, no matter what we're fighting. We did dip into Wind's tactics very briefly. We took some things out and replaced it with if there's an enemy cluster with at least 4 allies, she's going to pop haste by herself, so at the start of a big encounter she'll activate haste for the whole party. She can also spam lightning at any just rank and file enemies. We kept rock armor on, we kept the heals, heroic aura, it seemed good. She only regenerates for ally health now, she doesn't do it for herself. And then I kept this, of course, for the mana and the stamina and rejuvenate. That's going to be pretty cool for Morrigan and Alistair. And Alistair, we didn't really have anything that we could have added to him. We haven't bought many abilities for him yet. I'll probably get on that pretty soon. And I think that is all of us caught up, so send the first of these quests into the little lurking crow here.
A little bird told me one of Logan's friends had an accident. Terribly unfortunate.
So unfortunate.
You might want to look in the chest behind me. There might be something of interest.
It's a lot of maybes. I wonder what's inside. 2 contracts. A contract for Kadan-Fe mercenaries. This, the Antivan Crow contract for the killing of band of mercenaries called Word of Kadan-Fe. We'll go ahead and grab that one. What is this? Contract for Ambassador Gainley. This is the Antivan Crow contract for the assassination of Ambassador Gainley. Go ahead and take both those. Now if we go to our quest log here. Denerim, the Trial of the Crows. One scroll indicates that you should go to the forest south of Denerim to look for a group of Qunari mercenaries called the Word of Kadan-Fe. And an audience with the ambassador is, you have a contract to kill Ambassador Gainley, who is residing in the royal palace of Orzammar. When you take him out, a servant in the employ of the Crows will clean up the mess and make it look like he left Orzammar. So, we're not going to go to Orzammar for a long time, but it's useful to grab this first. We might go to the woods and take care of the Kadan-Fe mercenaries while we're around here, because we are swinging out of Denerim here. I'm going to finally go meet the Dalish Elves this episode at some point after we get these little turn-ins done. It is high time we went to meet the Elves. We also have a very useful vendor there that sells unlimited elf root, which is going to be great for us in our little potion crusade. Swing around the back of the blacksmith here and turn in the Mage Collective quest while we're here.
A little something extra for friendship.
Should have spent a little something extra on your lip sync. Alright, nothing else to pick up there. Finally ready to head out. Do we go to the woods or not? I think I will swing by the woods and take care of that. Once we're finally out of Denerim, I'll turn the graphical settings back up too. The graphics back to high. It works everywhere else in the game. You only get problems above low on Denerim. Here are the woods. Let's go and just get these mercenaries out of the way. We won't have to turn this in until we've been to Orzammar, but We can kill him while we're here, right? This is gonna be a tough fight. Let's wrap around back right here. I already don't like that. You see, this is the Glyph of Paralysis doing its fine work. As you chop that ward over and over again with the momentum, it's gonna, every time you hit him, it's gonna give a chance to paralyze him. Which means when we get abilities like Whirlwind or Dual Weapon Sweep, there's gonna be all kinds of craziness going on with it. Flurry 2 is another one. Anything that attacks fast is gonna be great with a paralysis rune on it. And that's the end of the Kadan-Fe mercenaries. Nice and easy. Pros could have probably handled this themselves.
Right.
Wasn't so bad at all. Juicy chest loot, white wood bow, and a cat shield. But say I'd rather the chest be locked, honestly, so I can get the lockpick and XP. I'm not so invested in what's inside. Mainly just want the loot. Now I can go along that merry way. Like I say, we don't have to turn that in for a while. We'll be back to Denerim at some point to visit Brother Genevieve, so I'll likely just turn that in there, because we will be doing that before Orzammar. Orzammar is a long, tough area, so...
Stop right there, outsider. The Dalish have camped in this spot. I suggest you go elsewhere, and quickly.
Like some Dalish hospitality. Actually, I've been looking for the Dalish.
I find that hard to believe. What business could we Dalish possibly have with a group like yours?
I'll tell that to your leader, and no one else.
Seeing as you are obviously no simple trespasser, I will leave it to the Keeper to decide the importance of your business. In the camp, I suggest you keep your hands to yourself, and remember that our arrows are still trained on you. Follow me.
I see we have guests. Who are these strangers, Mithra? I have precious little patience and less time to spend on outsiders today.
I understand, but this one claims to have important business with our people.
I see. Tell me, stranger, what business could you possibly have with us? We have our own issues we must deal with, as you can see.
I come representing the Grey Wardens.
You might have simply said so to begin with. Masiranus, Mithra. You may return to your post.
Manuvinen, Keeper.
Now, allow me to introduce myself. I am Zathrian, the keeper of this clan, its guide and preserver of our ancient lore. And you are?
Certainly seems like these guys at least are holding up on the customs. Very welcome into the Wardens. My name is Apparition. A pleasure to meet you.
Manners. From a Shemlin. Interesting. What might be your mission here? Have you come to spread news of the Blight? I had already sensed the corruption spreading in the south. The existence of the Blight is not news to me. I would have taken the clan north by now, had we the ability to move. Sadly, as you can see, we do not.
Yes, it seems like you've had your own troubles. What are the odds?
I imagine you are here regarding the treaty we signed centuries ago. Unfortunately, we may not be able to live up to the promise we made. This will require some explanation. Please, follow me.
I'm not a huge fan that he called us a Shemlin. That's actually a slur for humans.
The clan came to the Brecilian Forest 1 month ago, as is our custom when we enter this part of Ferelden. We are always wary of the dangers in the forest, but we did not expect the werewolves would be lying in wait for us. They ambushed us, and though we drove the beasts back, much damage was done. Many of our warriors lie dying as we speak. Even with all our magic and healing skill, we will eventually be forced to slay our brethren to prevent them from becoming beasts. The Blight's evil must be stopped, but we are in no position to uphold our obligations. I am truly sorry.
Is there no way to help you, man?
The affliction is a curse that runs rampant in their blood, bringing great agony and then ultimately either death or a transformation into something monstrous. The only thing that could help them must come from the source of the curse itself. And that would be no trivial task to retrieve.
I'm good at non-trivial tasks.
Within the Brecilian Forest dwells a great wolf. We call him Witherfang. It was within him that the curse originated, and through his blood that it has been spread. If he is killed and his heart brought to me, perhaps I could destroy the curse. But this task has proven too dangerous for us. I sent some hunters into the forest a week ago, but they have not returned. I cannot risk any more of my clan.
Have you considered seeking outside help?
From whom? The Children of the Stone? The Shemlin? Do you truly think they have time to spare for us?
You understand that I am a human too, right? As you're throwing the word Shemlin around. You said you could perhaps destroy the curse.
There is no guarantee that this will work, as I suspect. But it's the only hope we have left.
I'll find this Witherfang for you.
I must warn you that more than werewolves lurk in the Brecilian Forest. It has a history full of carnage and murder, you see. Where there is so much death, the veil separating the spirit realm from our own becomes thin, allowing spirits to possess things, living or dead. But if you can indeed help, then I wish you luck.
Would be my pleasure. I do, after all, need the elves' help. I need some equipment.
Then I suggest you see Master Verathorn. I will instruct him to put aside some supplies for you, the kind that the hunters use.
I'd appreciate that. Now, we are going to ask him some questions.
I must
But
return
before
to
we do
caring for
that,
my people. Creator's speed on your way.
we are finally going to crank our graphic settings back up. No more Clayface. We can finally put this back on high.
Yes.
And now there's a texture
What
on
do
his
you mean?
clothing. Very good.
Have you news?
I have some questions for you.
Make them quick, if you please. I have much to do here. My apprentice Lanaya or Sayrel, the clan's storyteller, could provide you with answers just as easily.
Tell me more about this curse the hunters suffer from.
There is not much to say. It stemmed originally from Witherfang, but now any werewolf may infect someone with it.
So did all werewolves everywhere stem from Witherfang?
No. The ones from this forest, however, do.
So if a werewolf bites me, then I will become infected?
It is possible, but not guaranteed. The only way to protect against the curse is not to be bitten.
How do you know if you have been infected by the curse?
You will know within a matter of days. You will begin to sweat and vomit, and most tellingly, your temper will become wild and uncontrollable. If that happens to you, you should seek out Witherfang even more swiftly. Your mission at that point will be rather personal.
How did this curse start?
That is a long tale I do not have time to tell. Ask Sayrel about it if you wish.
I want to ask about something else.
Go on then.
I should go.
I must return to caring for my people. Creator's speed on your way.
We will indeed talk to Lanaya about this, but while we're here, we're going to grab all the codex for the Elvish gods. It's going to be a really fun read after this, actually, because there's a lot of codex we're about to pick up here. The Elven Pantheon and the things that the Dalish worship are actually very interesting. And I hope they won't get offended by this. There is something here that Duke can, just discreetly kind of piss on the tent real fast. Nobody saw it. It's good. It's good. Now we're gonna quickly get rid of the doggo.
Indeed.
No evidence. They saw nothing. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot to read after this about the Dalish, which is fun. I don't mind. I love learning about the universe and stuff, and boy oh boy do the Dalish have a lot to learn about. You see there's a lot of side quests here too. A large floated spirit crystal and a love letter. That'll be useful for a quest later. You can loot that chest eventually, first things first. The god of vengeance, Elganon. I believe Elganon is actually one of the gods that's going to be inside the Veil God, so that's cool in itself. We'll read about Elganon here in a second. Well, not in a second, rather. I'll do it next episode. Look at the Quartermaster, Verathorn. After we grab his codex.
What are you doing? You've warped the wood completely. Did you leave it out in the rain?
No, Master Verathorn. I think I just used too much heat.
You're not smelting ore like a Durgenlin. This is living wood. It requires patience and delicate hands, not more heat.
My actions bring me sorrow, Master Verathorn.
And so they should. Truly the art will be lost to us forever at this rate. Throw away your dead wood and start anew, and I shall speak to our guest. Now then, please forgive my distraction, stranger. Is there something that you need?
I believe Durgenlin is dwarf. They have their own little names for each other race. Actually don't know what they call the Canary, but pretty sure Durgenlin is dwarf. I was told you could supply me with equipment.
Yes, yes. The Keeper sent word that you might ask me for such. I took the liberty of assembling some goods that our hunters use. There is a large chest by the Araville, where I put everything we could spare. Feel free to sort through it and take whatever you need.
I believe that's the chest behind here. I believe this is an Aravel. Is there any other equipment you could spare?
I have nothing left that the clan could spare, but we do have goods that we were going to bring to the Shemlin villages to barter with.
What exactly do you make here?
I'm the clan's craftsmaster. It's my responsibility to learn what I can of the ancient elven arts of shaping wood and ore. In truth, we Dalish know little of the art compared to what we once did. And even what we know has taken us many lifetimes to achieve. There is wood that, if treated properly, is as hard as steel but far lighter. It grows only in this forest. Ironbark. The Keeper has forbidden us from entering the forest to collect the wood. This means I cannot make our finest crafts for years to come.
Sounds great for a rogue, right? What if I found some ironbark for you?
I would be hesitant to ask it of you, but if you should come across ironbark, I suppose there would be no harm in gathering some. It is blue and very distinctive. You can only harvest the bark which has fallen off the tree from age. Now, if you find some, bring it to me, and I will craft it for you.
Sounds perfect to me. What kind of item would you make?
I excel in making blades from the ironbark, or perhaps a breastplate. Provided there's enough wood, that is.
We're heading into the forest anyway, so I promise nothing, but we'll see.
And I did not ask for a promise. I only ask that you consider the task, should you come across the bark in the forest.
I would like to barter with you.
I am no merchant, but let us trade. Perhaps there's something here which will be of value to you.
You say you're no merchant, but you're openly peddling goods to me, so you have the temperament of one, for sure. Injury kits, of course. We're good on my body crunch for now. There isn't going to be much that we are going to see here that I'm going to want, honestly. Alpha up, what do you do? Nature resistance is not bad, but it's not great. Wouldn't happen to sell any backpacks, would you, friend? You do not. But he does sell toxin extract. We need 7 of those for a quest, so we'll go ahead and snag those. They sell unlimited elf root too. We already have 10, so let's go ahead and crank this up a little. 99 elf root. Craft some potions here in a second. And that is all we're going to need from him. We got the quest. Let's see what they left in this chest back here for us. A show bow, a health potion, and a lyrium potion. Wow. This generosity.
So you are the Grey Warden who was supposed to save us? I never thought I would hear the name.
Very welcoming bunch. Although I suppose they do have reasons to be suspicious of outsiders. Can't hold it against them too much. The codexes we've been reading did touch on a little the exalted march against the Dalish. We kind of just rounded them up and systematically wiped them out for worshipping their own gods, and eventually just threw them in slums.
On it.
There's only a few remaining bands of travelers like this that keep their old traditions alive, and a lot of it was still lost nonetheless.
I trust there are no hard feelings about my questioning of you when you arrived. We Dalish must protect ourselves from trouble at all times.
Do others truly trouble you so much?
These days, very little to tell the truth, for we've established a fearsome reputation amongst the Shemlin. We must still be vigilant, however. Not that I would expect an outsider to understand, but there you have it. We do what we must. You might have just told me you were a Grey Warden and saved me the grief, though I suppose I can hardly blame your caution. But I wish you good fortune with your task. Dareth Shiral.
You don't trust me, and I don't trust you. And she'll be surprised how much I understand about defending one's family and land, actually. I actually sympathize very much. Talk to Lanaya first.
Underanatishan, Grey Warden. My name is Lanaya. I am Zathrian's first, what you might call an apprentice, perhaps. I've been studying under the Keeper all my life. I am a bit curious of the outside world. Do you mind if I ask you a question or two?
And anyone who's played Mass Effect will immediately recognize her voice as Ashley Williams. If you like, go ahead.
I hear the human cities are very large, thousands upon thousands of souls all packed together in their houses. Is that true?
Yes, some are larger than the eye can see.
How very loud that must be with everyone talking all at once.
Indeed.
I try to imagine those of our people living in such a place, surrounded by walls of stone and indifference. It is a difficult thought.
I gotta tell you, I certainly don't enjoy living in a big city. It isn't an easy life for them, that's true.
I suppose you have met many of my kind in your travels. My heart goes out to them. It is said that one day we will have a land of our own. We Dalish gather the ancient wisdom in preparation for this. When that day comes, all elves, even those who have forgotten, will reclaim their former glory. I have a question, if it's not too impolite to ask. Do your people regret what they did to ours?
Some of us do. Not all humans are the same.
I see. That is difficult for our people to accept. Even if only some were in favor of what was done to us, the rest did nothing to stop it. A poet once wrote of them, before the fall of the Dales. Like dragons they fly, glory upon wings. Like dragons, they savage, fearsome, pretty things. But you don't need me to quote poetry to you. Forgive me. Perhaps you have some questions of your own.
Now, for anyone who's played the future games, everyone here knows that the elves aren't exactly squeaky clean themselves in terms of what they do to others. The elven pantheon is actually not quite as nice as the Dalish are led to believe, and the barons that they use to honor their gods are actually slave markings. But it's not in this game, alas we won't get into it now. Tell me more about yourself.
I'm hardly anyone special, I assure you. If I seem different from the rest of my clan, it's only because I was born amongst humans. I came to the Dalish at a very young age, but I've always retained my curiosity about the world I came from.
How did you come to the Dalish if you were so young?
My parents were servants to a human merchant whose caravans plied the southern routes. One day, bandits killed him, and my parents both. I was the only survivor, just a young girl, and the bandits took me. I was their servant for several years.
I'm sorry. It must have been tough.
It was, though long years of reflection have allowed me to come to terms with it, to put them in perspective. I can only imagine what would have happened had the clan not saved me from them. I owe them my life for that, and more.
You said that the Dalish rescued you from bandits?
The bandits killed a scout when the clan passed near their camp. When the clan discovered him, Zathrian came looking for his killers. He followed their tracks for almost a month, and when he finally caught up to us, he fell on the bandits like a terror. No one could stop him. I sat there and I watched him attack them in a blur, and I reveled in every blow. When he saw me, the fury in his eyes turned to pity. He took me back to the clan, and I've been here ever since.
This is a very powerful mage, then. Didn't you have family you could have returned to?
It's possible I might have had some, maybe many. Zathrian offered to take me back, but I had no idea where I was from, and I wanted to stay with the man who rescued me. The clan is my family. Any others out there? It's best they believe that little girl died with her parents. For now, the clan is all I need. My old world could not have offered me all this, and the knowledge of a keeper as well. Perhaps one day, when I am keeper, I might inquire out of curiosity. I'm not sure what lies down that road except pain, however.
Well, you see, city elves and a lot of the world of Thedas in general tend to idealize the Dalish elves as these like noble wanderers. Because you get once you actually get here and you see how hostile they are, it's actually kind of a stark contrast to the tales of elven nobility. How did you become a keeper?
I am not a keeper. I am Zathrian's first. Though because I was not born into the clan, becoming his first was very difficult. We Dalish have old traditions. The clans come from the ranks of the nobility that once ruled the Dales, you see. The keepers of those old clans have the strongest and purest blood that reaches back to the days of our Lathan. I had to compete against the other candidates for first, to be better than them in everything, simply because I was not of the old blood.
We've read about Arlathan in the codexes. That's the lost city of the elves, where the what is it, the Grey Fox in this game, where he is rumored to have disappeared with his companions. Did they resent your success?
No. Zathrian told me that time would take away their prejudices, and it did. They became used to me. The clan has placed great trust in me. One day, I will lead them and be the one who secures our future.
Why are the Dalish so hostile?
They have reason. Since the days of our Lathan, my people have been either subjugated or homeless.
But I am not responsible for what's been done to the elves.
Aren't you? You're human, and to many of them, you represent the humiliations our people have suffered for generations. You may not have been personally responsible, but such feelings are not easily overruled by logic or fairness.
Sins of the father, eh? You aren't hostile.
I was not born here, so I see things differently from the others. Still, I do not blame them for what they feel. Perhaps this may change one day, but I believe the humans would have to take the first steps, if they are capable.
What is this Arlathan you mentioned?
It was our ancestral home, long ago when the humans first came to these lands. We were free then, and immortal. We did not know how to deal with the humans, and in the end, they turned their power against us and destroyed our Lathan. Our ancestors were enslaved, and our culture lost forever.
Does Arlathan still exist?
Not to my knowledge. According to the old tales, the human mages sank our Lathan into the ground, crushing it beneath the rock.
But the elves were eventually freed, right?
Yes, after a millennium of slavery, Andraste herself freed our people, she who was your maker's chosen.
But you don't worship the Maker?
We worship the creators, as we always have. We give thanks to Andraste for her part in our freedom, but we do not worship her, or her god.
Didn't Arlathan fight back?
The Tevinter Imperium was a force to be reckoned with. It was ruled by mages with powerful blood magic. Though our Lathan fought, they lost.
Elves were immortal then?
They died, but not of an aged body as other races do. Not until the humans came. According to the legends, association with humans caused us to quicken. Our blood sped, and we began to age. So we avoided them naturally. And then we were enslaved by them for 1,000 years. And in so doing, we all were quickened permanently and our immortality destroyed. Or so the old tales say.
It's actually not what happened. As far as I know, what actually caused the elves to quicken is the separation of the fade from reality with the veil. I believe that's what took away their immortal powers. But you could get your lifespan back, no?
In time and with seclusion. We Dalish have lengthy lifespans, and they will get longer. Zathrian himself has lived many centuries, though that is unusual even for us.
I can see why you resent humans then. It's understandable. Like, option number one is true. You lost the war, you wouldn't be the first. That's true, but that doesn't really help them when they have to sit here and deal with the consequences of what happened to their ancestors by our ancestors. Now, it's not our fault, and they shouldn't judge us for that, but being a little prickly about it is very understandable.
Shemlin, we call them. Quick children. I suppose it takes a certain arrogance to look upon another people as children, no?
Yes, it does.
Perhaps we should be more heedful of our own role in our Lathan's loss. Even so, it was a bitter lesson to learn. One we are not grateful for.
You'd be one of the only Dalish that think arrogance is a bad thing. Your homeland was called the Dales, I thought.
That was our second homeland. Our first was the great city of Arlathan. The Dales came when they were freed from enslavement. Elves everywhere journeyed hundreds and thousands of miles to the Dales, eager to start their lives anew. They called it the Long Walk. They reached the Dales and made it their own. And one day it was taken from us too, and you wonder why we are hostile.
Is there no way to get on your clan's good side?
It requires an individual to prove he is not the outsider we have come to expect. Your own task to help our clan is certainly a step in the right direction.
I want to ask something else.
Certainly.
What can you tell me about Zathrian?
Nothing that you could not ask Zathrian himself. He is the keeper of this clan and has been for a very long time. He is also a very good man who has lost much. The Dalish are everything to him, and he would do anything to protect them.
Yeah, we learned pretty fast about how he's been alive for centuries, which is not natural. Lost much? What has he lost?
He lost his family a very long time ago. I don't know the story, but I understand the circumstances were horrific.
I should go.
As you wish. Darth Shirel.
Let's see, a little hint about that. Let's talk to Zathrian about that. We did also hear from Lanaya that he is a man of fury. He said he fell upon the bandits that were attacking her like a fury.
Yes? What is it you need? Have you news?
I spoke to Lanaya about you.
And what did she have to say?
She said that you have been keeper for a very long time.
That's true. Hundreds of years, if you must know. Slowly, the Dalish will all know once again the agelessness of the Elves. For now, only a few of us have regained that ability, but I cannot say any more on that. I trust your curiosity is sated.
Somewhat. She told me you'd lost your family, but wouldn't say how.
I would rather not speak of it. It is very painful for me, even now after so long. The werewolves were responsible. That is all you need to know, and should adequately explain my hatred of them, no? Let us leave it at that.
I should go.
I must return to caring for my people. Creator's speed on your way.
We'll see how all that unfolds when we learn more about this situation. What Athras over here wants.
I'm Darren Atishan, stranger. I am Athras. I hope the others have not been too harsh in their treatment of you.
They've been a bit suspicious.
It is not our intention to insult a Grey Warden. We are simply wrapped up in the plight of our hunters. It is easy to forget simple niceties at such a time. I understand you will search for the wolves in the Brecilian Forest. I would join you, but Zathrian has forbidden me.
Forbidden you?
We are banned from entering the forest now. I have more cause than most, but I will not disobey my keeper.
Why do you want to enter the forest?
That is a tale I am not sure I should tell an outsider. Surely you have greater concerns than my problems, stranger.
Please, I'd like to hear about it.
It's odd to talk so freely with a stranger, but perhaps you can help me. My wife Dalish and I both fought the werewolves in the ambush. She was injured so gravely, the curse spread rapidly in her. Zathrian fought hard to ease her pain, but there was little he could do. And though he says that Dalish is dead, he will not let me see her body. I am beginning to believe she became a werewolf, and that it is being kept from me so I do not go chasing after her. If I could just know if Dalish is alive, or what happened to her, then I could be at peace.
I will seek her out in the forest.
I have an amulet made by our craftsman. It's not much, but I would be happy to give it to you in return for any news.
That sounds good to me. That's a good cause. Everybody should at least have the opportunity to say goodbye properly to their loved one. We're going into the forest anyway, so why not ease a grieving man's pain, you know? We're there anyway. I'm gonna loot this big pile of sacks. Not gonna do the pun that I made in one of the first episodes. Now here's Kamen, this poor guy.
Hello?
Hello yourself. Who are you?
I am Kamen, a hunter apprentice. Though I wish I could become a real hunter.
Why can't you?
I shouldn't be talking about this to an outsider. You wouldn't understand.
Try me. I might surprise you.
I suppose there's no harm in it. It's not like you can help me. I've been an apprentice for too long. To become a true hunter, I must bring back the pelt of a beast I killed myself. A boar or a wolf or something. I wanted to hunt in the forest, but we're forbidden to enter because of the attack. But the real problem is Gaina.
I'm detecting a love story. Girl problems, I see.
She's my heart's desire. I have asked for her hand, but she cruelly refuses it. She will not bond with an apprentice, she says, and calls me a child. I am no child. If I was a hunter, I could prove it, but I cannot hunt, and Gaina will never bond with me. I feel so helpless. I shouldn't have brought it up. Just leave me to my misery.
There must be some way to solve your problem.
You think I haven't thought about this? There's nothing I can do.
Perhaps I could talk to Gaina for you.
I suppose you could, but what good would that do? The situation hasn't changed.
I can be pretty persuasive.
Really? I'm willing to try anything.
It depends. What's in it for me?
I could reward you. I have a book of our history written in the common tongue. The keeper wrote it and gave it to my father before he died. If nothing else, you could sell it. It must be worth something in the human lands.
Fine, I'll do it.
Cyranas, oh ma Cyranas, I will pray to the goddess of love that you are successful.
Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't charge payment for helping out poor Cabin here, but we do need that book for a quest inside the forest, so I am gonna happily take his offer. The Elfru. Here's Fenharel, the Dreadwolf. Yeah, let's talk to his crush over here.
Andarin Atishan, outsider.
You're Gaina, correct? Cameron mentioned you.
You spoke to him? What did he say?
He said that if he was lucky, he would bed you soon. So you can sabotage him. You can actually woo her yourself and take her to your own bed and kind of rub it in his face. We're obviously not going to do any of that, though. He said you refused to give him your hand.
Oh. I don't expect an outsider to understand our ways, but I just can't bond with Kamen. He's been a hunter apprentice for over 2 years now, and he's yet to slay a proper beast. Each time he's tried, something has gone wrong. Perhaps the creators do not wish us to bond. I cannot bond with an apprentice hunter, can I?
If you love him, it doesn't matter what he is, does it?
But what if he never becomes a proper hunter? What will become of our family?
If you love him, then believe in him and help him succeed.
Oh, you are right. I have made poor Kamen miserable. No wonder he cannot complete his hunt. Masiranas, thank you. You have helped me put this into perspective. I will go and speak to Kamen.
I did tell him we could be quite persuasive.
Kamen, I have been a fool.
Gaina? What do you mean? Have you changed your mind?
I have. The outsider has helped me to see that I was wrong. I have made you miserable, and I should not have.
But what about my hunt?
I don't care about that. I know you will pass your hunt in time, and we will be happy. Us and our children.
Thank you, Gaina. You've made me a happy man. I feel blessed by the gods today.
Attaboy. Now take your kiss on the cheek and get ready to go kill a beast for us.
The part you've played in bringing us together.
How marvelous you are. I am so happy.
Does anyone else feel the urge to vomit? No? 'Tis just me?
Here, take the book. I hope it plays some part in your battle against the Darkspawn. It's the very least I can do.
Come on now, Morgan, we got paid. Spoil sport. Wasn't a complete freebie. We benefited, wasn't completely selfless. Miss anything behind this Aravel, did we? No, we did not. We are gonna go listen to the storyteller by the campfire and get some more on elven culture. So couldn't miss this Elfru, of course.
Gaina and Kamen together, I see. strange that you should take the time to involve yourself in that affair, of all things.
What can you tell me about the forest?
I know a few tales. Our clan has passed this way many times before, even when the Shemlin lived in these parts. You wish, I can tell you what I know. It is not a long story.
Yes, tell me of the forest.
Our legends say that before the Shemlin came, the Brecilian Forest was a place of our ancestors that predated even our oldest homeland. The people of the Imperium came here and gave the forest its name. If they found traces of our ancestors, we cannot say. If they did, those elves were slain or enslaved. We know only that a great many battles were fought here. These trees grow upon the graves of those who fell, Shemlin and elves both.
And those battles for the Veil?
Indeed. Very wise of you. There was so much death that the veil into the Beyond was torn. The Shemlin know the Beyond as the Fade, the place of dreams and spirits. When the veil is torn, spirits pass into our world freely. The legends say that one great spirit possessed the wolf that became Witherfang, who passed its curse of rage onto men and created werewolves.
This Witherfang still exists today.
So Zathrian insists. He says that Witherfang does not age as the werewolves do. Witherfang is as much spirit as it is beast, and thus it is immortal. Perhaps it cannot even be slain. At the very least, it is old and powerful.
We'll be sure to
much
put
as
that to the
Zathrian
test.
himself.
So there are many spirits in the forest.
The forest is said to be haunted. Spirits possess the trees, the wolves, even the bodies of the dead. They yearn for true life, you see.
There were battles in the forest?
Who can say what value the Imperium placed on this land? And how many elves died here, in slavery? Even the barbarians, who came to overthrow the Imperium, fought and died on this soil.
The veil being so thin here is a good explanation as to why we grabbed that quest that sent us here to deal with Maleficarum rituals in these forests. Really drawing on the fact that the veil is so thin to summon the demon army. How many werewolves are there?
No one knows. When the Shemlin lived in these parts, the curse would spread anew to a few of them with each passing year. They would run off into the forest, never to be seen again. Eventually, all the Shemlin left. One assumes the werewolves survive by passing their curse to their offspring. They have had no new blood. Until now, that is.
Have the hunters become werewolves?
It is said that one or two have turned already, though the Keeper denies it. As for the rest, they will either die or turn, unless they are killed out of mercy. I would rather die than become a ravening, soulless beast. Wouldn't you?
Indeed.
One last warning. The forest is like a thing alive. It changes as it wills, closing paths behind you and opening up new ones. Too many have become lost within, unable to find their way out. Were I you, I would endeavor not to make the forest my enemy.
Oh, certainly keep that in mind. That's actually not the tale we wanted him to tell.
Greet you, Shemlin. We understand you are venturing into the haunted forest to save our brethren. I suspect your efforts may be in vain. An entire group of our hunters went into the forest to do as you intend, and they have not returned.
The Keeper mentioned that.
Then you are very brave to adventure into such a place, even knowing the danger that awaits. Your courage impresses us greatly.
I detect a note of sarcasm in his voice. You think sarcasm is going to help you, do you?
Nothing will help us now. Least of all the meddling of an outsider.
Right.
You are being most unkind, Cyril. Would you refuse our hunters' help simply because of the hand that offered it?
You shame me, Lethalan. I have allowed my bitterness to cloud my better judgment. Forgive me, Grey Warden. It is most difficult to forget the lessons the Shemlin have taught us. Perhaps I can yet make amends. Stay while I spin a tale for our children. And then I will tell you of the forest if you desire.
Bitterness clouding greater judgment is a very big theme in this game, actually, but at least this guy has the common decency to try and make up for it. Yes, I'd like that.
Come and join us then, all of you. Now, What say we tell the story of the fall of the Dales? Which of you children knows that best?
I think I do.
Yes? Then come, child. Oh, don't be frightened of the outsiders. Now, where do you suppose such a tale should begin?
When we were slaves?
Yes. Long ago, our people were slaves to an empire the Shemlin had built on the darkest magic. They took away our history and our language and left us nothing. And then that empire fell, and we were freed.
Because Andraste came with her army, and Shartan joined her.
Yes. Andraste, the Shemlin prophet, came out of the south and challenged the Tevinter Imperium. Our ancestor, Shartan, fought at her side. And when the rebellion came to an end, we were given a new homeland in the west, the Dales. We began to rebuild the culture and history we had lost in our years of slavery. We worshipped the creators and made the Dales our home. Perhaps you know what happened next, stranger. Do you know what happened to the Dales?
The irony of him calling Andraste a child and his little Shemlin slur right there as he's talking about how she freed all of them and saved them. You started a war with us and lost. We're not gonna ruffle this guy's feathers at all. Let's just go, no, I really couldn't say.
Could not say, or will not. What do you say, child? Can you tell us what happened to the Dales?
The Shemlin wouldn't let us be.
Indeed. They resented that we would not worship their maker, and they resented our ways because they were so different from their own. The Shemlin nations grew cold towards the Dales. They called us blasphemers and tyrants, and declared war upon us. A great crusade.
Not every human felt that way, I'm sure.
And which is worse? The actions of those who believed they were right, or the inaction of those who knew they were wrong? Oh, I am certain we played a part in our downfall. We believed that the Shemlin would not revoke their prophet's gift so lightly. We were wrong. They took our lands, forcing us to abandon our gods and live as beggars in Shemlin cities. But there were those of us who refused to abandon our ways. They emblazoned the symbols of the creators upon their flesh and vowed to keep their ancient lore alive.
That's us. That's the Dalish.
Indeed, child. We chose to wander, homeless, rather than be ruled by the Shemlin. And all our clans wander alone until the day we have a homeland once more.
Then we bring the old ways back to our people, because they have forgotten it all.
For we are the Dalish, the keepers of the lost law.
The walkers of the lonely path.
We are the Elvenan, and never again shall we submit. And that is the tale of the Dales, stranger. Thank you for allowing us to tell it to you.
It's very bold of him to sit there and talk about the inaction of the humans and condemn that as if they were supposed to revolt and uprise and oust all their kings and bands and lords, and the Divine herself with all her Templars working in lockstep, when he is currently sitting here telling stories around a nice safe campfire instead of helping his own hunters who are dying with the curse because his leader told him not to. He is just the same as all those humans. He disagrees with the decision, and yet he sits there and does nothing because he was told to. He is committing the same inaction that he is condemning in all the humans that he's never met. But of course, it's easy for him to sit here and be bitter against the people who took no part in doing what he's complaining about. It's easier to be a victim than it is to be a realist. Thank you, I enjoyed it very much.
Perhaps one day you will tell us a tale of your people. A day when you are not guest and stranger, but savior. Now, as I said I would, I can tell you what I know of the Brecilian Forest. Do you wish to hear it?
No, I'm done here.
That is too bad. I certainly do not want to keep you from your promises, however, so by all means.
Well, you already told us about the forest, thankfully, and I'm sure you wouldn't care to hear much about Shemlin. Given your predisposition towards us. It's very easy for him to sit around the campfire and talk about the inaction of people. He does the exact same thing. Of course, for him, he has the very easy excuse.
Must we muck about in the animal pens now?
Well, hold on, Morgan. Gillenane, the mother of Halala.
comes. Oh.
Hala are actually
beg your
very
pardon, stranger.
pretty creatures.
I was so busy attending to the Hala, I did not hear your approach.
What is a Hala?
They are the noble beasts that pull our Aravel. What humans call land ships. They are our companions and our guides.
They are not your mounts.
We ride the Hala, but never with reins or a saddle. It is the Hala who decide where to lead us, and our privilege that they take our Aravel with them. In return, it's the herder's job to speak to the Hala and care for their needs. It's a bond of friendship, and not servitude.
It's actually pretty respectful. So why have you separated this one from the others?
I fear she may have been bitten during the werewolf attack. I have tried speaking with her, but she is too agitated for me to understand. The curse would not affect her as it would us, but it would still be lethal. And it may prove contagious to the other Hala as well. I can find no wound on her, but if she's truly ill, then I will have to put her out of her misery, for her sake as well as that of the others.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't know. Do you have any skills that might help her? If you do, I would be grateful.
Okay, so we can do some of these. We can try and calm the Hala with our survival.
Yes, that's it. She's calming down. That's it, love. Be calm. Tell me what troubles you. Ah, I see. It is her life mate who is sick, not her. He was bitten on the leg during the attack, and she fears greatly for him. I did not realize another Hala was injured. This will allow me to prevent the sickness from spreading to the entire herd. Masiranus, thank you. You have done my clan a great boon this day. I will always be grateful for your help.
That's not exactly a happy ending to that story. She already told us what she's gonna do with the sick Hala who got bit, so her life mate unfortunately is cooked, to say the least. Well, at least the innocent Hala doesn't die.
Let's get
Could have been every Hala in the herd suffered for that. Thankfully it's just the one. I wish we could do something about the Hala that's sick, but fortunately there's nothing to be done. Seems like if you get the sickness of the curse, it kind of just swings that way. Maybe if we stop Witherfang before the curse consumes the Hala there, it'll be okay, but not something we'll even hear about if that happens. Right, so before we go ahead and head out, I believe Wynn is our resident health potion maker. I'm gonna go ahead and make a whole bunch of these. And we're out of elf brew. Yeah, crafty. That being said, we did, I believe, just make 46 greater health potions, which is fantastic. So let's go ahead and drop these on every single bar that needs them. When you can finally get rid of that, you're not going to be using that anymore. And stick these on all our companions, just in case they need to chug at some point. We'll regularly keep coming back here and buying the unlimited elf fruits. You can stack hundreds of them and then just take them back to camp and chug them as you need to. Right, I believe that's pretty much the entire Dalish camp taken care of. I'm not going to go into the forest yet, because I'm going to wrap this here and do a Codex episode next. So that is going to be it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, there's a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Take care, guys. Have a good day.